Shalom. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Al-Shai, Ba'ashem Al-Kakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me the truth. And peace, blessing, and salutations to the whole for elect. Yeah, I was just doing that sound to the little brother. Oh, look. That sign's there. So I guess it's casting. I don't know where though, but yeah. But yes, we have this level here. Which obviously they be telling us their plans anyway. But obviously, the only people that can give you understanding of this are the prophets. But yeah, and they come out of Great Millstone, whether you believe it or not. And also the brothers who teach the same doctrine. But yeah, let's listen to this devil.
Hello, Ben Leo here. It turns out all the crazy cranks and conspiracy theorists who were concerned about chemtrails and weather modification, well, you might have been proven right after all. I've just come out the most extraordinary 2-hour congressional hearing here at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. on that very, very topic. Experts all agreeing weather modification, cloud seeding, chemtrails, it's real. Here's what happened.
My written testimony goes into detail explaining my decision to join more than 500 other scientists and academics from around the world to call for a solar engineering non-use agreement. I'll just briefly state first, the understandings are not sufficiently developed to know what the outcomes would be, and unintended consequences are almost certain to happen. Second, our 70-year history with weather modification should give us some humility in thinking that we can understand what the consequences might be. We've been trying to modify the weather for 70 years, and we don't know if we're modifying the weather. And finally, we have one Earth, and experimenting on it carries considerable risks. I have likened geoengineering to risky gain-of-function research on viruses with uncertain benefits and catastrophic risks.
Now, the federal government has been involved in cloud seeding.
And even then, man, like I said, we have one Earth, and this is just look at the world, man. Just look at it. It's complete trash now. So imagine if they had power over all these different planets. They'll destroy them too. Oh, where is it? Oh no, Proverbs 29:2. It says, "As a roaring lion and a raging." No, that's that's the wrong one. It says, "When the righteous are in authority." Yes, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So yeah, man. The people mourn. And then again, that's why the Lord ain't give them the kingdom, man. He ain't give them the authority to rule over all these other planets. That's only been given to Jacob, man. Second address 6 and 9. This is for Esau is the end of the world. Going into an age. So get the end of this kingdom, or the end of Esau's rulership. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Meaning when Esau's kingdom collapses, the Israelites are gonna come in. And at that point we're gonna rule forever, man. Forever and ever. And that's what the immortality is for. And even then, as the sons of God, we're supposed to be immortal. But yeah, let's carry on.
Since the 1940s, using the planet as a test monkey for emerging technologies poses all sorts of risks. Among these that have been highlighted by the EPA are stratospheric ozone depletion, acid rain, and reduced crop yields. There's also the question of whether such large-scale climate interventions is even necessary given the uncertainties regarding climate change.
For years, anybody who questioned weather modification was labeled crazy or a conspiracy theorist. Now we've learned that they've been doing it for decades. One geoengineering company called Make Sunsets injects aerosol into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight back into space. I want to show you their frequently asked questions. Why? It says, unless we reflect sunlight, tens of millions of people will die, and 20% of species may go extinct. These climate activists have come so far that they are actively trying to inject chemicals into the air to block the rays of the sun from hitting the earth. And they want to take away our...
And you see, even then, as a human, or someone who has color. When I say color, I mean some sort of melanin inside them. They literally need the sun. They need the sun. Literally, the sun gives life, man. But obviously we're dealing with these devils, so they want to get rid of it. Why? Because it hurts them. it literally hurts them. Hence why they want to get rid of it. And not only that, there was another scripture that, let me find it. What's it called? I literally forgot what it's called. In which, what's it called? Man? The words, and I need the words. Yes, here we go. As it says, I just realized I see that there's a drawing thing on there, which means I could mark things on this video if I use the S1. But yeah, I can't be asked to do that. And it says yes, Jeremiah 31:5. 31 and 35. It said, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Habashai, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance and the ordinances of the moon, and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar." It says, "The Lord Yahweh B'Shem Habashai of hosts is his name." And said, "If those ordinances depart from before me," so yeah, if they disappear, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Habashai, "then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever." So there you go. Now you know why they're playing around with the sun and covering the heavens with those dirty chemtrails. But even then, it's not gonna work. And it says, "Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured," and that's why they be. Yeah, and that's why they be flying in the sky, man. Literally going to all these different places, trying to measure the heavens, man. And the foundations of the earth search out beneath. Literally going into the oceans, and that's another reason why you see them deep in the oceans, man. Looking for these different creatures. Literally trying to do verse 27, man. Not verse 27, verse 37. But like it says, "I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord." So yeah. So really they're trying to prove the Lord wrong, man. We already know what the Lord said. Esau's the end of an age, and Jacob's the beginning of it, which followeth. So, yes. They're going to lose their kingdom, man.
God-given rights, our God-given rights over the earth in order to satisfy their godless climate cult beliefs. Potentially cooling the earth could also cause people to freeze to death, crops to die, and could literally lead to killing millions and millions of people.
The UK government...
And even then going into the intercontinental ballistic missiles. Literally that that smoke. What's it called? Is it smoke? I know it's called something else. Yeah, the smoke and the soot that comes from these missiles. They're going to reach all the way up into the heavens or into the sky. And what that's going to do is, well, it's going to block out the sun, man, and the stars and the moon. You won't see them. Why? Because of the soot, man, and the smoke. So then again, they're still trying to get rid of the nation of Israel, man. When I say the nation of Israel, I mean the Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans, including Mexicans and Seminole Indians. And also the Israelite foreigners that have been scattered abroad. And even then, those Israelite foreigners that basically became as the other nations by following their gods. They're of the lineage of, well, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Or the lineage of the sons of God, man. No, I think it's. Yeah. Second just 3 and 10 it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. So yeah, it's going to overtake a lot of people. I want to say overtake, I mean, they're not going to see it until it actually happens. And it says, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. And that being the heavens being covered, man. Due to the shot and the smoke that comes from those missiles. And obviously the great noise being those explosions, man. It says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And if anything, literally to melt an element or to melt stone, you need high temperatures, man. You need a very hot flame, and that's what those intercontinental ballistic missiles are going to do. It's literally going to melt all the elements that are over there, man, in America. Literally, man. And it says the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. And yes, going to the so-called lake of fire, in which that's all those elements being melted, man. And it says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved. And what's that word, dissolved? Obviously, I know what it is, but I wanted to look at the etymology. What's it called, man? Dissolve. Oh. I clicked the wrong thing. So as it says to break up, to separate into parts. Huh. And it says transitive of material substances. And it says also to liquefy by the disintegrating action of a fluid. Yeah, going into that fire, man. That fire is going to come from the intercontinental ballistic missiles. So as it says, it says, looking for and hasten unto the coming of the day of God, when the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And even then, it's basically talking about the ICBMs, man. I said, nevertheless, we, according to his promises, look for a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. And that's going to be the kingdom of the kingdom of heaven, man, where the Israelites are ruling. And not even Malachi 4:1. It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. And yeah, with Yeah, there was a thing. Well, in when I used to do art, there was this big machine, and basically it's called a kiln. And obviously, when you put the stuff in, it's the stuff gets hard, man, and hardens up. When I say the stuff, I mean when you put clay in it. But even then, going into these ICBMs, they're like they're literally going to mount everything that's in its path, man. But yeah, it says, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. So they're going to be burned up, man. And a day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemashah of hosts, that it shall leave neither root nor branch. And just like today, well, here in the UK anyway, yeah, you look at the trees, man. All the leaves are falling down, the branches are falling off the trees. And even then, as well, the roots of the tree go deep into the earth. And that's how it basically gets water, man. There's waters underneath. Yeah, there's water underneath the, what's it called, man, the tree. And the roots stretch all the way down to get that water. So then again, if they're going to be destroyed, just imagine America and what's going to happen to it, man.
But unbelievably has just given £50 million to a firm to research chemtrails and dimming the sun in the UK. This is the moment I caught up with Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene and told her all about what's happening in the UK. We had a company in the UK where the government's just approved a £50 million donation for pretty much chemtrails dimming out the sun in the UK. One of your experts in there said that it was equivalent to the gain of function research on viruses as we saw during COVID. Do you think the Overton window on this now is shifting as we saw with COVID?
I certainly hope so. You said that your government approved it?
Yes, they gave them the money, £50 million for research.
So I think that's equivalent to what happened during COVID. I think it's equivalent to mandating experimental vaccines into people's body. And I have deep empathy for the people in the UK. They're not lab rats, and they shouldn't be, and their tax dollars should not be used against them in some sort of basically experimental, what should be taking place in a lab, but it's being done to them without their say, and it's terrible.
Turns out British viewers and indeed Americans weren't cranks and conspiracy theorists about the weather and geoengineering, chemtrails. An extraordinary hearing just now.
Thank you very much. No, they're not conspiracy theorists. They're not crazy. It actually has been happening for a very long time, not just here in the United States, but also in many countries around the world.
Everything, life grows from the sun. What kind of person would want to block out the sun?
Well, my observation, based on my years here in Congress and also this hearing that I thought was exceptional, is there's a big difference between the right and the left. The right primarily believes that God created the earth and that God controls our atmosphere. The left is primarily godless, and they believe that humans can control the climate, can control the weather, and
yeah, it's as simple as that. She literally making mention of the righteous and the wicked. The righteous being the sons of God, and the wicked being Esau, Edom.
they believe they have the authority to do it no matter what anyone else thinks.
And it was only in April this year that I told viewers of Ben Leo Tonight back home in the UK that Britain was set to approve funding of up to £50 million for a very strange experiment to dim the sun. Good evening to you. Thank you for your company. I hope you enjoyed the glorious sunshine we had today, and indeed are excited for the so-called heat wave next week. I know I am, because sunshine is a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's literally life force. God energy that allows flowers to flourish and powerful trees to grow. It allows us to grow food. It heals and nourishes our bodies and makes pub beer gardens that much sweeter too. So ask yourself then.
And you see what I mean? It's these Edomites, man. They're going to cause famine. Especially by blocking out the sun. Second Edge 16 and 22, and it says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. And it says, and the other that escape the hunger, so the sword destroy. And going to that word sword, it literally any type of weapon, man. Any type of weapon. In Lamentations 4:9 it says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that are slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken, fruitful are one of the fruits of the field. So yeah, it's better to die by it's better to die by the sword, man, instead of dying by hunger.
Why would anyone ever want to block out the sun deliberately? What kind of person would want to do that kind of thing? Well, if you ever needed proof that we're led by dangerous, incompetent weirdos, that's what they're planning to do now, here in the UK. British scientists are launching a £40 million government-funded geoengineering experiment to literally test dimming the sun in the name of solving climate change. In a nutshell, they're going to be spraying aerosols into the sky out of planes, i.e. creating so-called chemtrails, to try and dim the sun, all at the altar of climate change. Another potential solution to stopping climate change, according to ARIA, is marine cloud brightening, in which ships would spray sea salt particles into the sky to enhance cloud reflectivity. Professor Jim Hayward of the University of Exeter said that ship emissions lead to bright lines in clouds over the ocean, and he cited a 2014 volcanic eruption in Iceland that spilled out a lot of sulfur dioxide, which brightens clouds and cools the planet.
Weather modification is ongoing, and the reporting is not particularly good. Assessing the effectiveness is not good, and that leads people to ask questions. So if we go back to Project Cirrus, back 1947, I think it was Hurricane King, it started dissipating, and then it took a left turn and then struck the U.S. It's a natural question when someone intervenes in a system to say, did your intervention cause this bad thing to happen? This is why I've recommended having a very public, very authoritative study. We can't have Republican science and Democrat science. We have to have science that's trusted by everyone to assess what weather modification has been done, what have been the effects. If we don't know what the effects are, what research can we do to know those effects? You guys have the National Academy of Sciences at your disposal, where you can ask exactly these questions. And a great question would be, given what we know about weather modification, what could our...
And you see, this is the Lord already told us, man, about the weather and all these things. But you see, these are just weird, man. They don't trust the Most High, man. And And the reason why is because they're the wicked, man. Yes, Psalm 73 and 11. It says, and they say, how doth God know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? So then again, that's what they're saying right here, man. That's literally what they're
Adversaries
saying
and
right
enemies put it to use.
here. That's exactly what they're saying right here, man. We need to test it and prove that what the Lord said is real or not. What a devil, man.
How would we know it?
If they truly believed their global warming hoax and the rising sea levels and the cost of all of us will be underwater in a few short years, why are they investing millions of dollars into beachfront properties across the same coast they claim will be underwater? Bill and Melinda Gates own a $43 million beachfront home in California. The Obamas own a $12 million waterfront compound in Martha's Vineyard. Mark Zuckerberg is building a $270 million beachfront compound in Hawaii. Mark Cuban owns a $19 million beachfront mansion on the coast of California.
So there we go, quite an extraordinary 2 hours or so on Capitol Hill here. You're not crazy, you're not conspiracy theorists, and you're not cranks. One expert even likening geoengineering and weather modification to gain of function research during COVID. This is Ben Leo in Washington, DC. See you soon. Hello, Ben.
So yeah, man. A bunch of devils, man. But yeah, I'm gonna give all praises on and glory to Yahweh, Shem Abshai, Bashem Rakagadash, and Shalom, man.